My husband died in a car accident, and I just discovered we're tens of thousands of dollars in debt. Forgive me if this is a little disjointed. I am still reeling from trying to wrap my head around my current situation. My husband passed away very suddenly recently, and in the weeks since his passing I have discovered that he was keeping huge secrets from me. In going through our financial information, I have discovered multiple credit cards in his, mine and the kids' names that are at maximum balance, 2 sets of loan papers from different banks for over $20,000. Paperwork that says our mortgage is 4 months behind, and a ton of other things that I can barely make sense of. From what I can tell, his business hasn't been making any actual money in over a year, and our savings accounts are drained. There is evidence that he has been using some gambling website and has lost thousands and thousands of dollars. I've been a stay-at-home mom for our entire marriage, and he owned his own business, so he handled everything with the money. I have no idea how to deal with any of this or what to do. I know I need a lawyer, but our accounts are pretty much empty, and I am at a total loss over what to do. Are there any free legal options I can look into? I have tried to call a bunch of lawyers, and all of them have said they won't give out any advice or counsel over the phone. Am I liable for all this debt, even though I didn't consent to my name and certainly not my kids' names being used to open credit cards? I feel like an idiot for being this uninformed, but I am completely unprepared to deal with this, and I am terrified we are going to lose our house and worse. I never in a million years dreamed he would do this to us. Can anyone point me in the right direction, please? Comment 1. I'm so sorry you're going through this. It's a lot to process. You might want to look into contacting a legal aid organization. They offer free or low-cost consultations for situations like yours. They can help you understand your rights and guide you through the process. Comment 2. Do. You're not alone in this, and you absolutely shouldn't feel like an idiot. Start by gathering all the documents you can find, and make sure you reach out to a bankruptcy or family law attorney who might be able to help with your situation. Update 1. I wanted to give you an update since so many people gave advice and said such kind things. First of all, thank you to everyone who commented and gave me advice. I'm sorry I didn't respond on the other post. I was just so completely overwhelmed. I still am, really. But I did read every comment and message, and I appreciate everyone that took the time to comment. I was able to find some legal help, and we are working on sorting out the mess my family is in. Things were far worse than I even knew when I made my first post. Altogether, the debt that was accumulated is close to $500,000. At this point, I have no idea how much I am going to end up responsible for. The lawyer has said it could take years to sort everything out. No matter what happens, we are going to be losing the house. I am working on finding us somewhere to stay before they actually foreclose, so we don't get evicted, and have that on my record too. I want to try to answer some of the questions and advice people mentioned in the other post. I have 3 kids, so that is the we that I keep saying. The older 2 are from a previous relationship, but I have contacted Social Security to get benefits started for my youngest. Thank you to the user who mentioned that. My husband's business was a computer tech repair company he ran by himself. He had a few people he would call in to help with larger jobs, but 95% of everything was him alone. The last year or so, it appears he wasn't doing any actual work and there was no money coming in. He took money from the business to cover what he took from our personal accounts, and then took out loans to cover the business and pissed it all away on gambling and other illegal activities that have come to light over the past few weeks. Sorry to be vague. It's just embarrassing and hard to talk about. To the people who said that maybe the crash was intentional, it is looking increasingly likely that it was. Nobody else was involved. His car went off the road and hit a tree. He had life insurance before, but he stopped paying the policy months ago. I am in contact with the police about the credit cards in our names and the other things that were discovered. All in all, things are looking really bleak at the moment, but I have faith that eventually it will work out. I have a few leads on jobs and have picked up a little temp work here and there the last few weeks so that we have something coming in. I have signed up for food stamps and Medicaid, so once that goes through, it will be a bit of help. I applied for AMHA as well, but they said the wait list can be a few years wait, so that is a kind of long shot. Someone has suggested asking family friends for help or loans, and they absolutely would help me if they could, but none of them are in a financial position to be able to help. My sister will hopefully be able to let us stay with her temporarily until I can sort things out and get us back together. She is my only living family and has been my rock through all this. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you all again for listening and helping. If anyone else has any more suggestions on trying to pick up the pieces that I haven't thought of, I would appreciate any advice. Update 2. This will probably be my last update, I hope at least. First of all, sorting things out didn't take nearly as long as we thought it would. things ended up being a lot more straightforward than they first appeared. I will be filing for bankruptcy, probably early next year. I've talked extensively with the lawyer and weighed my options, and that seems like the best way to move forward at this point. 90%, 95% of the debt should be discharged with bankruptcy, so that is a good thing, although it's bittersweet. We are losing the house. We will be moving out by November 30th. I am worried about the bankruptcy credit issues with trying to rent an apartment. However, I am now on the list for PMHA, and from what I've heard, the wait isn't long at all. We ended up not being able to count on staying with my sister for longer than about a week thanks to her jerky landlord, so I am trying to find something else in the meantime. I have a few options to look into. Honestly, I'm not that sad about the fact that we have to move out of the house. The old place is filled with tainted memories now, and I think it will be good to get a fresh start. I've been assured by the police and my lawyer that, because of the criminal nature of opening the accounts in the kids' names, we should be able to get their credit cleared. That one might be a long road, but we'll get through that too. My applications for Medicaid and food stamps came through, so that is some definite stress off my shoulders. I made the girls and myself an appointment at a family counselor, which we will be going to next week. The lady at PMIA Housing was very reassuring and very sweet about my situation, and she made it sound like I was pretty much a shoo-in as soon as a place opened up. Last but not least, I listened to the many Redditors that told me to make a post over in to inquire about help with Christmas for the girls. So hopefully we will be able to find some holiday help, and that will be another huge load of stress lifted off my shoulders. I want to thank everyone who messaged me and offered words of encouragement and support. I can't even begin to tell you how much it means to me to know that I'm not alone. I never imagined Reddit to be an empathetic and caring source of comfort, but it turns out that is exactly what it is. Thanks again, everyone. Final update. Hello, everyone. I wanted to give one last update to my situation since so many of you reached out to me. This has been a whirlwind few weeks. A lot of change, a lot of stress, and a lot of hard work. As difficult as all this has been and will still be to go through, I am feeling more positive than I have in months. The legal issues are being dealt with as best they can for the moment, and we are looking at filing bankruptcy early next year. It is scary to think about, but I do know it is our best option and things will work out in the end. We moved out of our house almost a week ago. It feels very bittersweet, and the girls are having a difficult time, but I know they will adjust, and I really do think a fresh start will be the best thing for us. The girls are in individual grief counseling, and we began family therapy. I will be making an appointment for myself as well, something so many of you encouraged me to do. Some of my good news now. We were able to find a permanent place to live, with a very sweet landlord who is sympathetic to my situation and has previous experience with the welfare system, and has bent over backwards to help me through all of the red tape. We will be moving, again, into the new place at the end of this month. Hopefully that will be the last time we have to move for a very long time. My second huge piece of good news to update with is that I got a job. I am now working full-time in an office of a company that is owned by someone I met through my posts here. She contacted me after my last update and offered me a trial run with her company. I started this past Monday and so far, so good. I am incredibly humbled and grateful to her for giving me a chance. That brings me to my third point and really the reason I am making this update. I wasn't sure what to expect when I first reached out for advice here. I just felt so overwhelmed with the situation, and I think I was just mostly wanting to not feel alone, and to connect with and talk to people who had some understanding of what I was dealing with. The response I got from all of you has been astonishing. The advice, the stories of dealing with similar circumstances, the encouraging messages, the fact that you all literally saved Christmas for me and my kids, a new frickin' job. And just the empathy and kindness you all have shown to me and my family is so far beyond anything I expected that I don't even know the words to express how grateful and humbled and loved it has made me feel. It is going to be a long, tough road, but I have total faith that things will be okay, and that is in large part due to the community. So in closing, I want to say thank you to every single person who reached out to me in any way, shape, or form. Thank you for lifting us up and helping us through this. You guys have saved me in a million different ways, and I will always be grateful. I hope you all have the merriest Christmas ever. Now, for the next story. My husband knocked out my brother for calling me a derogatory name, and now my parents want me to choose between them. What's the right thing to do? This past weekend, me and my husband were over at my parents' house for a BBQ. The day was going great until my brother for some reason started to have a go at me, calling me names and belittling me. My husband pulled my brother aside and had a talk with him, and the insults stopped. An hour or so later, we were standing around talking with some friends and family members, and my brother came up to me and told me I'm a whore. His exact word were, "You know you are a fucking whore, right?" He said it loud enough for almost everyone at the party to hear. All I saw was my husband next to me look at me. Then I felt a push to the side, my husband stepping in front of me, and the next thing was my brother out cold on the ground with blood on his face. All I heard is my mother yelling, and my husband saying, "You don't talk to my wife like that, I warned you already." Before I continue, my husband didn't hurt me. He didn't push me hard or anything like that. Don't know how to describe it, but it was like a push that someone will give you when they are trying to pass. I went like one step back, that is all. I am not mad at my husband. I'm mad at my brother. The whole day he was demeaning me, insulting me, belittling me. Don't know where this came from, as he has never talked to me like that, or to anyone that I know of. The bigger problem I have is that I have to choose either my husband or my parents. My parents are pissed and have given me an ultimatum. I either leave my husband and divorce him, or they cut me off completely. My husband doesn't give a crap that they are mad. The only thing he is mad about it, that he only got one punch in his words. I love my husband and don't want to lose him, but I also don't want to lose my parents. They have supported me through a lot, and have always been there for me. I know they are serious, as this is the first time they have ever issued me with an ultimatum. They also threatened my husband with assault charge, but he doesn't care, and welcomed them to do it. I'm stuck between a decision that will change my life forever, and I'm panicking. I have received messages for friends and other family members that have given me support and condemned my husband, but they are leaning more on the support side. Any advice will be appreciated. Edit to clarify. I am to choosing my husband. I have never questioned that, but I also don't want to lose my family. I am very family oriented, and family to me is everything. I want to find a solution where I can keep both. Comment 1. It's incredibly difficult to be caught between your husband and family, but your husband's actions were protective, not abusive. Maybe a calm conversation with your parents could help them understand where you're coming from. Comment 2. Choosing your husband is understandable if he's your partner in life, but it's also worth trying to repair the rift with your family. Maybe time, space, and communication could soften their stance. Update. First, I would like to thank everyone, and I want to apologize as well for the way I worded my post. It's no excuse, but my emotional state isn't the best. Unable to link my previous post, just look on the account. My husband is my choice, and I have no intentions of leaving him at all, never had. I know it's early for an update, but I'm more confused now about what is going on. My parents invited me over to have a talk with them, but they wanted me to come alone as they didn't want my husband at their house. My husband refused to let me go alone and said if he isn't going, then he won't allow me to. He basically said, with you alone there, they will just pile on you, and that I won't let happen, so we went together. My parents wasn't happy to see him, and my mother wanted to say something until my husband told her he isn't there for them but me, and if he is forced to leave I will leave with him. I agreed with him. Reluctantly they agreed. My brother was there as well. He has a broken nose and chipped teeth and refused to look at me or my husband. He just kept looking at the ground even while talking. Apparently what happened with my brother is that he broke up with his girlfriend a month ago. It's more like she broke up with him, don't know the reason, don't care. I wasn't aware of this as we aren't close like that. According to him, the reason he had to go at me this weekend is because my life, according to him, my perfect life with my husband, kept popping up on his feeds and he got jealous. Everything on my social media is with my husband. I don't really use it for anything else, but his feed was full of my posts, and that set him off as I had something that he didn't. It got worse when he overheard me and my mother talking when I had a discussion with her over children. Me and my husband is currently trying to have a baby, and that just made everything worse in his head. His life was falling apart and mine was going perfectly, and I had, and was trying to have what he wanted with his ex. He said he didn't take my husband seriously when he pulled him aside and my husband warned him. I seriously don't know why he went after me, as nothing he said was true in any sense, and I did ask him why he said those things. He refused to answer me. I asked him why the whore comment, because he knows my husband was my first in everything, and it has only been him all these years. He refused to answer. I asked him if trying to have a baby with my husband makes me a whore, as it involves sex, and he just left the room. I asked my parents why they didn't step in and tell my brother to leave or stop. My dad said he wanted to, but my mother told him to leave my brother be, as he is not actually hurting anyone. The same with the ultimatum, they wanted to protect my brother. I asked what about me, and they were silent. All my father said was the ultimatum was my mother's idea, and he went along with it. This is basically where we are at the moment. A lot more was said, but I don't think it matters. My husband did apologize to my parents for what happened, but refused to apologize to my brother. When my mother asked him to apologize to my brother, he outright said no. He won't apologize for standing up for me, and my brother got what he deserved. He was warned and didn't listen. My mother said it still doesn't excuse him for hitting my brother. My husband asked my dad what will he do if someone called his wife a whore. My father said I will have a talk with that person, but will never hit someone. My husband laughed and told my dad he is a weak-willed, spineless man if he allows someone to demean his wife like that. That got my mom red in the face. I could see her get angry. That is when I told my husband it's time to leave. I told my parents that I will be going low contact with them, and the ultimatum they gave me broke the trust I had in them. I understand they wanted to protect my brother, but in doing that they hurt me. This seemed to take all the anger out of my mother. They asked if I will be cutting them out completely, and I told them that is up to them. I don't want anything to do with my brother at the moment, as he can't even apologize for what he said to me. I told them if they can respect my wishes we will see. When we got up to leave, my husband went over to my parents and actually still greeted them politely, but told my dad it's time to grow a backbone. I don't know what I saw, but I think it was shame in my mother's face, because my dad looked at my mother and she looked away from him. This is where we are at the moment. My husband on the way back home apologized for possibly escalating things, but told me it was time someone told my dad the truth. He said whatever punishment comes he will take and deal with any fallout. I don't need to worry or stress about anything. Edit. Brother's ex cheated on him, and apparently he begged her to fix things, but she chose the other guy, and now he is just pissed and angry at every woman, and believe we will all do that eventually. Got a message from my cousin. The family had a go at my parents for allowing my brother to talk to me the way he did, and they came clean as to why he did what he did, but couldn't do it when I was over and we talked. They couldn't be honest with me and just refused to answer.